it's sort of like a family. It's a lifelong commitment.
Dr. Hans-Peter Kiem is a pioneer in stem cell and gene therapy and in the development of new gene editing technologies. With his work, he hopes to achieve cures for diseases like HIV, leukemia, and brain cancer. Dr. Kiem is a professor and the deputy director of the Translational Science and Therapeutics Division at Fred Hutch. He's also a professor in the Vaccine and Infectious Disease Division and a member of the Immunotherapy Integrated Research Center, and the recipient of the Stephanus Family Endowed Chair for Cell and Gene Therapy. That's a lot, but I'm here to speak with him today about none of that. Dr. Kiem, welcome to the studio, and congratulations for being awarded the American Society of Gene and Cell Therapy George Stematoyannopoulos Mentorship Award. This is from their website. The award recognizes Dr. Kiem's mentorship and training of students and early career professionals through his laboratory activities and his leadership. Why is it that a science research medical setting uses mentorship so much?
It is very often a challenging environment. It's particularly difficult to navigate a situation where you want to do basic science and research in the lab and then clinical work. So I think very often mentees benefit a lot from getting help and advice in terms of how to best navigate the system and then also hopefully pursue a successful research career.
It's clear that the mentees gain a lot out of a mentorship. But I read an article by Alex Lyman, originally published in the Huffington Post and republished in the Chronicle of Evidence-Based Mentoring, that says mentorship is a two-way street, that in fact the mentor can get as much out of the mentorship as the mentee. Have you experienced that?
Absolutely. So many of the new technologies, especially AI technologies, and mentors can learn a lot from students and junior faculty who are more familiar with some of these newer technologies.
So it keeps you sharp.
Absolutely.
I've also noticed that teaching something makes you learn it really well.
That is absolutely correct.
Yeah. Another question. It seems that every organization that I have either worked at or volunteered for is obsessed with efficiency and also scaling successful things. So does mentoring scale? Can it be part of an organization's culture, or is it really just a personal one-on-one connection?
So it depends at the level. If a student comes in as part of our MD PhD program, I get contacted by the director of that program, and he will already facilitate, whether this will be a good match, and he will talk to me and the mentee, and then advise, and kind of orchestrate a little bit that connection. And the same for fellowship. We've got a fellowship director here. If a physician comes in who wants to do hematology oncology, right, they will already direct then the fellows to certain faculty members that they already think might be most appropriate for the interests of the mentee or the fellow at that time.
All right.
So there's organizational structures available for these different levels.
So let's talk about bad mentorship. I read an article in Mentorloop by Grace Winstonley about the reasons that mentor programs fail. She said things like no clear goals or lack of customization or just maybe a poor match can kind of plague a system that they're not really paying attention to. So without naming names, have you experienced or seen bad mentorship? And what can someone do if they realize they're in a mentorship and it's not quite a good fit?
The mentee should always be able and feel free to go back to their program directors and discuss that issue.
So you're not necessarily locked in.
No,
it's a fluid situation.
You should not be locked in. And it's just human. There's sometimes things don't work out, and for a number of reasons. But I think it should be really, the mentee should be able to change labs if they don't feel comfortable with the environment. That is so important.
So last question. I spoke with Marilyn Drennan, the director of our summer undergraduate research program. She says that an internship is the gateway to a great mentorship. Have you experienced that?
Absolutely. We've always had interns now in the lab, and there you learn how to listen and really think about also a different perspective now at that level, and what's important for the interns and how they view things. And that's been very important, I have to say.
If you could give a little advice to a young person in a biomedical program that's coming up, how do I go about finding a good mentor?
There has to be, obviously, a chemistry there. If that's not there, it's probably not a good match. The mentee has to feel comfortable in the environment, comfortable talking with the mentor, and really come out, yeah, this is really cool. I like that.
That's a great place to end, unless there's anything I forgot to ask you about.
No, I think that's it. Again, I just probably want to say, for me, it's always been, it's sort of like a family. It's a lifelong commitment, and that's how I've looked at it.